Hi May, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. All good. Very good to see you.
I know, really good to see you. Thank you for joining us on a Monday. Did you have a good
My
weekend?
pleasure. I did, yes. It was very chilled. Had a busy few weeks, so took some time to do not a lot. So yeah,
Not a lot.
feeling
The
very well
best.
rested.
Yay. Well, ready for today then.
Absolutely. Very ready.
Well, welcome, Charlotte. Thank you so much. I think everyone's very excited for this. I feel like the music industry is always one of the most popular industries. You are from Sony Music. We've known each other for a while now. Um,
Yeah.
but we're really excited to have you just share a bit more of your guidance and wisdom and advice to everyone who's interested in record labels, the music industry, and all of that. So, do you want to just start by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely, yeah. So my name's Charlotte Tyndall. I work in the talent acquisition team at Sony Music in the UK. So talent acquisition sounds very glamorous, like I'm hunting for artists, but actually I'm hunting for the people that want to work at Sony Music. So the recruitment team at Sony basically, and we sit within the wider people experience team. I've been at Sony Music now for 6 years. Which has flown by. And I started out in the team as a coordinator, and now I am a junior manager in the talent team. And before that, I studied music, went to uni, studied music, always loved music, had no idea what I was going to do with my life, but I just knew that I wanted to do something to do with music. Studied production because I loved to DJ, I loved electronic music, and I thought that'd be a great path for me to start in. And it was, had so much fun, and then went into a production role and then also fell into recruitment after that. And then once I'd been in recruitment for a few years, I realized that I wanted to be in the music industry somehow again because I'd come out of it. Can you hear me okay, May? I
Yeah.
think I'm glitching a little bit, sorry.
No, you're
Um,
glitching, but we can hear you. All good.
okay, perfect. Yes, so I decided to get back into the music industry, but had no idea what I wanted to do, even after like years of experience in different fields. And a role at Sony came up in the recruitment team where I could be a recruiter, but in the industry that I wanted to be in. So I had no idea that that was even a possibility. So that's why I think I find it really exciting to work on projects like this and help people understand about different jobs that are available.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, that's exactly what we're going to I think dive into today because the music industry, I think when you asked me, when I was younger, what roles I thought, I think I could only name like two or three, which is
Hmm.
mainly the artist and
Yeah.
maybe A&R.
Hmm.
But there are so many different departments of roles. So what roles would you like to highlight, I guess, that are maybe there's a lot of opportunity there, young people should know about, but
Hmm.
maybe they might not know about that exists in the music industry?
That's a great question. And I don't want to favour any kind of particular area of the business, but I would like to highlight maybe that there are so many hidden careers, especially in a major label setup, because if you, I think in music in general, there are lots of different roles and opportunities, some that you will have never heard of, some that I will never have heard of, that come up all the time and continue to move with the change in the industry. But when it comes to a major label setup, it's quite a big corporate business at the end of the day. So when you think about any company in the world, there's lots of different teams to help that company run. So there's all kinds of things that go alongside an artist campaign that doesn't necessarily just mean A&R or being the artist. Marketing is the big part of a record label in a major label setup. Um, as well as obviously A&R being a huge priority, but then you have loads of other areas that you can plug into that you can bring to the table if marketing isn't your thing, but numbers are. We have a data team, we have an insights team. If psychology is your thing but you're passionate about music, understanding audiences and understanding the why is a way that you can get into that. And it's such a huge priority for us. I think along with that, going being well versed in social media and being chronically online is also a skill set that we look for at the moment when we're hiring for digital roles. So digital marketing doesn't necessarily mean like you have to have run a campaign from start to finish, but if you know the ins and outs of TikTok or the ins and outs of Instagram and how to maximize opportunities for certain artists or what audiences would like on those different platforms, they're the sort of skills that we're looking for, especially in like early talent, early careers, because we look to our junior members of the team and of the company to bring that knowledge and understanding, because you're in it, you're essentially in that audience yourself.
Yeah.
So I know that wasn't very specific,
No, no, no,
sorry.
no, 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 no. As in, like, I think, like you said, you're saying record labels are big businesses, and I think maybe we all forget that. But at the end of the
Mm,
day, you're trying to grow as a business, and you need lots of different people to help grow that business. We just spoke with Penguin Books, which, although in the book industry,
mm,
they're talking about the rights department, which is talking about,
yeah.
international selling, and again, when you think of music, it's not just one thing. I think the department that I always loved learning about was sync.
Yes.
I'll let
Yeah. And
I'll let you describe what that is.
I mean, it's so hard because we've only got a 20-minute slot, but I think if you're interested in certain areas in music, try and do a little bit of like a research rabbit hole in that area and you'll find out loads more about it. But essentially, sync is the people that are responsible for getting the music from our roster, Sony Music roster, into games, TV, adverts, films, anything you see on like a Netflix show. There's a team behind it making it happen. And if you love just creative in general, if you love bridging the gap between the different worlds of creative like gaming or films and TV and music, then it's great because you can, I think for that world, if you're someone that knows your music, no matter the genre, no matter the era, that's a really good area for you to look into.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think what we're saying here, your advice is to do a bit of research into the different areas,
Mhm.
because there's a lot more areas than you think. And once you kind of find a few different areas, there will be opportunities that you can kind of, start. But
Yeah,
for those teams, it will come across as though you're a lot more passionate. Because Charlotte sees probably lots of CVs every single day.
yeah, yeah,
It's very
definitely.
competitive. So what CVs stand out? Like, what makes you want to take people to the next round?
This is the question that everybody asks, and rightfully so. Like, who doesn't want to stand out? But what really does stick out for me is someone that understands what they're applying for and really puts everything into tailoring into the role that they've gone for. And that can be in a few different ways. That could be how you display your skills. If a certain skill is needed for the role, how are you going to tell us that you have these skills and where you gain them? But also being passionate about, if it is sync, for example, tell us why sync is your dream role or area to work in. Um, Even to the small details of like interests and hobbies. If you haven't got gaming and film and TV in those, then that's something that you can tweak to make it tailored to that. You wouldn't believe how many people apply for a music job without putting music as an interest on their CV, but they'll put lots of other things.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
even being that kind of specific can really
yeah.
help.
I know 100%. And I can imagine also just being quite broad in music is also not helpful, because that isn't showing that you're passionate about that specific department.
I mean, for entry level, it really does vary and depend on the role in terms of how specific you need to be. I think the key thing that people look for at entry level is someone's willingness to learn and excitement for the industry. And we want to know that we're going to be hiring someone that's going to relish the opportunity and run with it, and want to get stuck into all these different things. So even if you've got evidence of doing that on your CV, like that's relevant and important to display as well.
Yeah. Everyone, Charlotte is here to answer any questions as well. So if you do have any questions, please do ask in the chat box. We actually just have one coming in.
Nice.
So someone says, how can we stand out for a video interview? Because
Mhm.
they've seen that Sony do offer like a video cover letter.
Yes, great question. I think my colleague Heather started the video cover letter request, and I will not let go of it because it's brilliant. And it's not an interview. That video cover letter is not an interview. A video cover letter is for you to showcase your best skills and knowledge and experience if you have some. It's what we ask for so you can play to your strengths. If you haven't ever used a video editing platform and you're not sure how to do it, just talk to the camera. Like, tell us who you are and what you're about. But if you think that you could make a really great TikTok about your life and experience, then do that. Do that. It's really up to you and how you feel like you can best come across. Don't overthink it,
Mm.
because at the end of the day, if you've got the passion and you've got the energy, we will see that through you talking to the camera, or whether it be a voiceover. If you don't want to show your face, that's fine. If you don't want to use your voice, that's fine too. There's plenty of AI covers that you could use, or just ask someone else to speak for you. So there's ways in which you can do it that work for you. But
So
in
it's like a
terms of,
video format of your CV and personality and just
yeah,
trying to understand who you are.
exactly. And I think for that, similar to the CV, if you can make it as relevant as possible to that area of the business, to that label, and it really explain why you want to work for that team, then that's a really great place to start.
And do you want to share more about your internships and your early career opportunities? Because I know Sony does offer internships every year.
Yes, we do. And we've just opened a new program today. So we've opened our A&R Academy applications. So what that is we have 3 opportunities across the business in Columbia, RCA, and Ministry of Sound. And the A&R Academy essentially is a 12-month paid program where you will get to work in that specific team for 12 months, learning the ropes of A&R. So you'll have on-the-job training, you'll work with the artists, you'll be scouting and suggesting people that the team then continue to look at and try and sign. So it's really exciting, and A&R has to be your dream job to do this job, because it's not as glamorous as everyone thinks it is. It's hard work, and it is, yeah, you have to really, really love the idea of A&R or working in management, yeah, working closely with artists. But we also have a wider internship program. Now that one is that starts in January and finishes up in January, but the applications for that go live in August. So we have missed the window for that one this year, but it will be late summer next year. So if you're at school now, or if you're at uni now, then yeah, you don't need to have studied to do those roles. Like, that's not a requirement, but we do ask that you're not studying whilst you're doing it, because it is a full-time job, Monday to Friday.
Amazing. And Sony is a partner of Eric, so we'll definitely be putting that on the Eric app when that is live. We have another question in the Q&A. So Tanya wants to know, what is the average number of applications you receive for an entry-level role? And what is the number one pet peeve thing you hate to see on a CV?
Oh, I love that question, Tanya. Thank you. So average number of applications really does vary. So, I mean, this year for our wider internship program, we have 23 opportunities and we got 5,000 applications,
Wow.
which is crazy, very competitive, and not the only route into music and Sony and just major labels in general. Just remember that. Um, so that was this year. The years before have this was relatively high this year. Last year, I think we got around 3,500. We had a year in the pandemic where we got 8,000, and that was crazy. So it does vary, but I would say the average is between, I say 3,000 and 4,000, but that's for a big program of 25 roles on average. And it does depend on the particular role as well. So we have some roles that get 100 applications, we get some roles that get 800 applications, because of, I guess, the type of role that it is. Um, the number one pet peeve that I hate seeing a CV. Oh, there's a few. Um, I would say number one is when it's just not tailored at all to the role or the company. And there's been no effort to show your understanding of that area of the business. And also when it's addressed to, like, if it's for a particular role, say in digital marketing, but you say how much you want to work in A&R in your personal profile. So just making sure that those things are checked,
Mm.
and clear from the get-go.
And I think AI is a huge part to why you're getting so many applications, because now everyone, I guess, is making it easier, which is great. But like Charlotte said, I think AI can also make those answers sound quite generic. So I'm
Yes.
sure it's very obvious to you when people have used AI, which is probably
Mm,
fine. Obviously, everyone's going to use it to help, but
yeah,
tailor it, you know?
that's it. 100%. And I think you're right, May. There's no getting away from it, but we can definitely tell when, ChatGPT has written your personal profile. So use it to your advantage, use it to help you give you ideas, and then build it with your language and from yourself. I think that goes a long way.
Amazing. Well, we've got loads more questions, Charlotte, coming in. So,
Yeah.
Zoya, she or he wants to know, what are some of the ways to get work experience around the age of 17, 18? Because, yeah, it is heard that when applying for music industry roles, they look for experience. Or actually, does it have to be to do with music? What is your advice?
No, I think in terms of experience, everything that you do contributes to experience. Like even if it's a role in retail or hospitality, if that's the kind of stuff that, builds you into a fantastic candidate for a role in music. I think when you're 17 and 18, you're definitely still learning about what it is that you want to do. So all I would say is just try and do things yourself. Start projects, start fan pages, start volunteering when you can, because you don't get the opportunity again when you're older to do all those different things. So help yourself build a bit of an idea of where your skills lie and what you want to then pursue in the future, because it would definitely be helpful by the time you get to 2021 and you're like, I know that sync is where I want to be. It just makes it a hell of a lot easier when it comes to building more experience in that space. um, or whatever it might be. It could be really broad, and you think that, yeah, I am really passionate about marketing, but that could be digital, that could be international, that could be traditional. So it just start to think about where you would want to be. Don't worry too much about like getting a full-time job in a record label. That's not what we mean in terms of needing experience. I mean, entry level jobs shouldn't need experience, but what we want to see is that you've gone out there and you've made something happen yourself, because that really does um show your passion instead of just telling us your passion.
No, 100%, 100%. And I think it's just always linking that experience to, like Charlotte said, the thing that you want to do. And I think people find it hard to understand, like, oh yes, I've worked, in a retail store. How does that relate to music, but you can always link it. You've just got to be the one to be like, okay, I've learned customer service. Customer service links into music because,
Mm,
blah, blah, blah. So I think it's all of your experience is great. You need to do more of it, but
mm.
it's just linking that in your application to when you are then applying for,
Exactly. And
that.
if you think about customer service, there are customer service roles in the music industry. There are like for example, our AWOL department. They work with thousands of artists on different levels, and I think they have a customer service team that support those kind of younger artists that need help with different levels of things. And then look at me as well, like the in terms of tying my experience into music, I got a recruitment job because I'd come through recruitment. I didn't do any music recruitment. I did sales recruitment and developers and things like that, which had nothing to do with music. But because I showed my passion and I'd got background in it, I was able to make that step and cross over there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because we're running out of time, but we still got a couple of more questions. If you have 5 minutes, Charlotte.
Yeah,
So Madison wants to know, when does the A&R Academy begin again? So it's live now.
it's live now for applications. The start date for that is mid-March 2026.
Do you have the link that you could pop it into the chat?
I do.
Amazing.
What I'm going to do is send you to the careers page, the internships page, so you can take a look at our website, early careers, and they'll be on there.
Amazing. Okay, brilliant. And whilst you're finding that, we will look at a couple more questions. So, thank you, Charlotte. Danielle says, what do you wish you had learned or done at school that would have better prepared you for the music industry?
It's a good question. At school, I didn't know what the music business was. I mean, going back to like my GCSE days, I wish I had just read a book or gone into there was not much access to the information that you guys have today. With I'm not saying that I grew up in times without the internet, that's definitely not the case, but I didn't have anyone in my life that worked in music or that could tell me about the music business. So I wish I'd had the initiative to go and find out what that actually is, from the school days, rather than thinking that, oh, making music was my only option. So I think, yeah, research is always the key because you're um, in a position where you can learn as much as you can. So yeah, I think that would be the one, and not assuming like that's the only path I could take.
Yeah, being curious, I'd say.
That's it. That's much better put than what I said.
No, no, I was like, well, no, I think everyone that we've, spoken to this week does say the same thing, where it is do your research, be curious.
Hmm.
And there's so much information out there. Um,
Yeah,
so don't kind of pigeon yourself into one thing.
that's it. That's it. Learn as much as you can. Try and I think try and surround yourself with people in in the space that you want to be in as well. You might not have access to that right now, but that like you are on this call, so you're in a space where you're surrounded by people that are interested in the same thing. So I think, Danielle, you are 10 steps ahead of that I was at school, because you're here and you're learning from other people.
Yeah, and hopefully, yeah, exactly. You're just learning one thing that you can take away and apply that.
Mm,
I'd say, like, just before we go, because I know that record labels often everyone wants to work at a record label because that is what everyone thinks the music industry is. But I know, Charlotte, even though you work at a record label, you will say that that is not, like you said earlier, the only way to get into the music industry. It is very competitive. Charlotte is getting 6,000 applicants for these
mhm.
internships, but that doesn't mean that you can't get into the music industry. Like, what other things, like, should people be looking at, or what other companies or organizations are out there?
Well, there's a long list. The labels are the people that release the music and they support the creative journey. Some artists aren't signed to labels, so they'll use other companies to help them along their journey. And that might be distribution companies, live companies to help them with their touring, management companies, PR companies. So all these like compartments of a record label are kind of split off into other companies as well. And I do find that sometimes if you're willing to support, um, if you've got spare time or able to volunteer and or just ask people for a coffee or a phone call, then you've got other people to target as well in the industry, like those smaller companies. Um, if you're into songwriting as well, there's publishing companies. They're, the people that are responsible for getting artists and songs and putting them together and making a hit. So there's that as well, something else for you to research. Um, you could, I think, going back to that experience thing, if you've got someone in your life that is an artist and you want to work in A&R or management, then pair up together and help each other. It's not necessarily something where you have to, commit to a company for 5 hours a week and it will take out of your day, but you can commit to someone else and you can partner together. And that is experience, that's experience that we look for. And I think that can teach you a hell of a lot. More than doing admin for someone else can, down the line, because you get to kind of direct your journey. And I just think that that is so valuable. Don't wait for people to give you an opportunity. If you're interested in something, start a project, do it yourself, and then it will lead you to the right place and it will get you into that job that you so desperately want. In however long it will take. It might take you 6 months, it could take you 5 years, but as long as you're having fun on the way, that's all that matters, right?
100%, 100%. And I think my advice from just, I guess hosting all these things is learn how a business works, learn how the music industry works from a business point of view, because that is ultimately what everyone is contributing to. So
Mhm.
learn about how an artist makes money, or learn
Yeah,
about how record label operates, because at the end of the day, all of these businesses are businesses. And
yeah.
you have to understand how businesses grow, because that is what you're contributing to. And I think I just
Mhm.
never realized that. And you're always only thinking of that one role or job, but that
Yeah.
fits in a much bigger machine. And if you don't understand how that machine works, then it's really hard for you to understand how you are adding value.
Yeah. And you might ask, where on earth do I find all that information? I think it's everywhere. When you look at publications, start with Music Business Worldwide, Music Week. They're kind of like the staples within the industry that will alert you of worldwide news in the music industry. But then you've got other like Instagram networks as well that you can check out that will give you updates and also job opportunities. And if you're not ready to jump into a job yet, but I'd always recommend still looking at the job descriptions to be like, what is this job and how do I gain experience to do it? And then maybe start thinking about a plan of what projects you can
Yeah.
start.
And I actually think ChatGPT is good for educating. You can ask
Definitely.
all of your questions, like what is A&R? How does a music business, how does a record label work? And that's really what ChatGPT is good at, rather than
Yeah,
write my
that's
CV.
it.
Um,
Absolutely.
well, we have run out of time. There is one more question, which is a little bit specific. I don't know if you'll understand this one, but someone said, when looking at applications, do you find there is a difference if someone has a more formal fan page, like an update account, versus just posting about your favorite artists?
There is a difference, of course, in the types of pages, but I still think they both show your passion equally.
Mm.
Um, for that, I think if you run a very successful fan page, then opportunities can often be different to if you're just kind of posting like a blog. Um, Interesting question. I know that doesn't give loads of info, but it wouldn't be something where we would be like, oh, well, this person doesn't have a
Mm.
formal fan page. and we wouldn't look negatively on that. You know,
Yeah,
it's all good stuff.
it's all good stuff. Again, just linking it to like what has that learned or what have you learned from that and
Exactly.
what are you taking
Like,
forward?
I know we're out of time, but if you were to have a fan page, um, think about what jobs would be good for that, like working in audience development, working in CRM, working in, anything to do with the fans. It could even be social media, because you understand what they want and they're looking for. So it's just how you link the dots
Yeah,
to
that's
the
it.
different
Linking the
jobs.
dots. I love that. There has been one, sorry, okay, last question, because
All
Charlotte
good.
has to go. But I think this is a good one because can I create my CV in a creative way or should it be the standard ATS CV? Like, does it need to be in a CV format?
I In terms of creative, I think yes, but think about it. Don't go too overboard where we can't read the writing. There's loads of crazy colors where something might not pick up on an ATS reviewer. If a company is using AI to review the CVs, I would add creativity, but also make sure it's very readable and very concise and in PDF format. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, hopefully
Don't
that
go too
helps.
crazy. Don't go too creative where you can't actually read it and you're not, yeah, clearly displaying. I spoke with the Disney team actually, and they said that someone wrote a CV in the Disney font, which was very
Yeah,
great, very creative, but it was just really difficult to read.
yeah, exactly. So maybe the name could be in Disney font and then the rest of it could be in
Exactly,
normal font,
exactly.
things like that.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Charlotte. And hope
My
everyone got
pleasure.
their questions answered. But hopefully we will see you again at one of our events. And
Yes,
yes, the
my
A&R
pleasure.
Academy is open. That's the most
Yes,
exciting thing.
yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Charlotte. I'll leave
thank you
you.
everyone.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye, bye,
Bye.
bye.